From heavy hitters in the industry to artists on the rise, AMPEDCast is your all-access pass to the beats, the breakthroughs, and the behind-the-scenes. Welcome to the hottest event in dance music, Miami Music Week, where I hit up the Winter Music Conference to capture the stories behind the sound. Today I sit down with Sarah DeWarren, the voice behind some of dance music's most moving tracks. Her latest collab showcases her evolving sound and vocal power, which is taking her artistry to new heights. Listen in where the music is hot and the stories are hotter. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a beat. All right, Sarah DeWarren, it is so great to sit down with you and hear, just like I learned a little bit about you, but share with me a little bit about you and your music.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. So my background is in vocals, and I've written a lot of trance and techno music. I've collabed with amazing DJs. I've been so lucky to be working in the scene. And now I'm like focusing on my artist project, and I'm touring as a DJ. And I really just like love making trancey, techno-ravy vocals. And I feel like this year with all of my shows ahead, it's just been like a really great momentum that I have.
That's incredible. Now, how did you get started in music?
I kind of started out when I was a teenager. I was writing a lot of songs in my bedroom and like producing on my laptop. Okay. And then I moved to Manchester in the UK for university, and I started raving. And then I think like at some point I realized that like songwriting and raving can have this like middle ground of where you're like making rave music. And so I started making trance and working with trance producers and releasing on blogs, and the song started to do quite well. And then I got signed to Ultra and then started writing for bigger DJs. And I just spent a lot of time around those people and then started DJing myself. And now here I am making my own music and playing it out to people.
That's incredible. And it just shows like taking the stepping stones along the way and not giving up.
Exactly. And, you know, just like embrace the journey and enjoy the journey. It's not about like trying to skip steps and not waiting for like a lucky break. It's more so just like getting involved in the community and making your art.
I completely agree with you on that. Now, is this your first Winter Music Conference, or is this?
I've been for quite a few years. The first year I came, I was singing at Ultra with Gareth Emery. And then the next year I came, I think I was just coming to hang out. And now this year I'm playing my own sets. So it's been a quite nice little progression for me.
That is so cool. That is so cool to hear. And, you know, looking at other artists out there, what would you say that, like, for inspiration for them to say yes to their music, to go on that adventure and give it a try?
I think being in music takes quite a few different factors. You have to have the passion for music, but you also have to have quite a lot of drive and bravery. So you have to put yourself out there and you have to be very ambitious and make a lot of sacrifice. But if you want it bad enough, then those things will kind of come naturally. And definitely don't be disheartened if things don't happen quickly, because most of the best artists in the scene have been grinding it out for years.
You know, you touched on something that's very true. A lot of times people see the end product and they don't see those years of work, that it could be decades even of work that is leading to that end product. How do you feel that has been fitting in your journey?
Yeah, so I've kind of been, with my background in mostly like vocals and songwriting, I was grinding that out for 5 or 6 years. And then I got to a point where I had like a pretty good profile and I was able to pivot. And then it took me a couple of years of just like building my artist identity before things started feeling a little easier. And by no means is it easy. Like, we work so hard every day of our lives, no matter where you are. But it's just having the patience, and it's been a long journey for me. It's been a long journey for my friends. It's been a long journey for like all of the stars as well in the industry. So yeah, you have to be in love with the journey, that's for sure.
Yes, I completely understand that and get that. And it's so powerful to be at that point where you're like, you know what, you're going to take the yeses, you're going to take the nos, but you in your heart know this is like the right way for you.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's your calling, you got to answer it.
Definitely. Well, this has been such a fun conversation. How can people connect with you online?
So I'm under Sarah De Warren on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So you can just find me on any of those platforms or Spotify, of course, Sarah De Warren.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Thank you for having me, Kay.